say thank you all very much for coming. I know we have been doing this for about a year and a half or so, this Hispanic inclusion movement, of course with Janet's help and Tony and Mike and everybody in here. It's kind of what it's come down to is, and Sylvia of course, the development of this project here, Stepping Stones. Stepping Stones is the what do we do, it's the answer, the way we see it, it's an answer, not the answer, but an answer to what we can do to make a difference right now in Hispanic communities regarding the trends that the community is going in education with high school dropouts, and lots of different things. So we're going to introduce to you our Stepping Stones process, and we're going to have paperwork to fill out and everything because tonight it is starting. We've been doing a lot of talking and a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, but right now what we're doing is moving forward and getting people to take action. And so we have also our guest Virginia, who came in from Austin. Virginia Hermosa is an immigration attorney. She deals a lot with Hispanic issues, and she's going to speak. Did you want to do that first, or do you want to do the presentation first?
I'm thinking we'll let Virginia speak.
Okay, well, okay, so just to give you an idea, she's going to come up and talk about some things that when we talk about doing the work on the ground, getting the boots on the ground, we want to get in the homes. We want to take the conservative message into the homes, one family at a time. And when we get into some of these homes, we're going to run into real issues with immigration status of a lot of these people, and we need to be armed with the information to know how to overcome some of these obstacles that may be in our way, or that we can help to springboard them into taking the next action. So, all the way from Austin, please welcome Virginia. Austin, she was going to get a break and you'll come in later.
That's right, that's right. Well, my name is Virginia Hermosa. I'm actually, I am an attorney. I'm also the vice chair of the Texas Facilities Commission. I'm a governor's appointee to that commission. We just made it through the legislative session, so I'm really tired, and then we're going into what they call that sunset review, so we're gearing back up. Basically, what the Facilities Commission does is we're the, if you will, the landlord, the property manager for the state. We basically do three things. We build things, we lease things, and we fix things. So we're the first ones that got the wake-up call when the governor's mansion was burning down. So that's how that works. I am actually from South Texas. I am a first-generation American. My family is from Veracruz area. And in fact, I say I'm first-generation American. My family would say that I am a foreign-born Mexican. And in fact, that's what they told me for a long time. But when, obviously, you know, being from Mexico and we're Catholic as well, we are very conservative. We're very traditional, and so the conservative message does resonate with Hispanics. It's just in the delivery that sometimes that gets lost, and all the deliveries that they're getting. I was not really much involved in politics. I would consider myself, probably in the 90s, I was one of those that I'm going to look at each individual candidate, and from that, whatever that person was telling me, if I liked them or didn't like them, I was going to vote for that person, and I didn't care about party affiliation. Then came the 2000 election with George Bush and Al Gore. And the problem was that at that time, I was a prosecutor. I was an attorney general, assistant attorney general. I was the deputy division chief in the special crimes. I had specialized skills. I speak fluent Mexican Spanish, read it and write it. I was the only female that could make calls and do wire transfers and go pick them up and do all this kind of stuff. So they used United States, and that was fun for me. At the time, I was doing liaison work with the other attorney generals that bordered the state of Texas. So there's 4 Mexican attorney generals in any of the port cities. Also,
The
the
problem with that
government in
election
Mexico
was
has
that it
always
went on
been
for so
able to
long
make
that
it
we were
clear
waiting
that
to
there's
find out
there's
who
a lot of good
won.
things, but there's a lot of bad things.
And I'm
You
also
know, we were
somebody
all
that's
walking on pins and needles because
well
it was
situated
it's a known
to be
thing. When
honest
you
about
work
what's going
for a
on.
state agency
I have
like
friends that
the
are
Attorney General's
fifth,
office,
sixth generation
those guys at the
Sometimes
top
don't
are
even know
elected
who their
officials.
relatives were in Mexico.
And you still have to make a
Or
career
if
regardless
they
of
were
whether
ever
you're a
Democrat,
Democrat
or
or
you know,
they
they may
a
have been,
Republican.
regardless of what you want,
indigenous population
you
that got
have to,
you know,
you have to
that the
maintain a
Catholics
level
give
of
in
anonymity as
missionaries
to
just change their name.
what you're doing in your
And
personal
so
life, because you don't want
they
to
have a
be
romantic
somebody
notion
that
of what
gets
Mexico is.
gotten rid of
And they
because of
come here
how
like, well,
you
you're
feel
saying
on a
this.
political. And I used to be there. There was a time
Well,
there
when
we
I was
were
like that.
waiting for the results.
But as I got older,
There was a fellow
you start
female
seeing
prosecutor,
what they are.
and
She
when
comes
the
to my
parents
parents and
said,
shuts the
well,
door.
you might want to
And
go
says
ahead and stay over there. I just
Don't
can't
come back.
believe it.
You
Plan
know, we
was
don't
we
talk
always
politics.
go back.
That
That
was
was
always
unspoken
mine.
rule. We don't talk politics. And I was, oh my
That was
God, I
gosh,
should
you
American,
didn't say,
I go to school here, whatever.
And
But
she
I was going to
says,
go back.
and
And I
I
had
can't
no problem
believe
with
it
it.
because my
George
family was
Bush
not.
is trying to steal the
you know, they
election
weren't for
and all
the
this stuff, right?
I mean, they
weren't
voted for
suffering.
Bush.
So I'm like waiting for him to win. She's waiting for Alvaro. I didn't know that.
You might want to stay.
And then
Because there's
better
opportunities
she goes on.
for you as a female.
And
Even
I
say as a
finally,
Hispanic.
you know,
He said, as
when
a
she was
female
done
in the United States.
I said,
So I
you know,
never even, at
I
that,
voted for
when you told
Bush.
me that, I was like,
You
oh,
know? I said that. And I didn't think anything of it
oh, okay,
saying
better
that.
opportunities for
You know,
me as
up
a
until that
Hispanic.
point.
I was thinking
I
about
thought,
as
you
a
know,
female.
okay,
So
she's
I
telling me
never
she voted for
played with
Alvaro.
that crutch.
I'm telling her I'm voting,
I
I voted for Bush, so we
I
both
never
want
had
a resolution to
I
this
didn't go through a lot
situation.
of the things that some other
And we're both
immigrants
frustrated,
go
whatever.
through when they
I
get
thought it was a
here.
bonding situation.
You know, I
did.
I went to UT.
And she says to me, how could you?
I went to a school
And I looked at her, and it was one of those things where
So
we're
I didn't
very
have
highly
those
charged.
experiences.
And she
I
said,
didn't find
how
those
could you,
experiences
as a
until
female
I had
Hispanic,
to start
vote for
working
George
for
Bush?
You know, I've worked at
And if you're
different
recording this, you're
cities,
gonna have to
kind of
change what I
Yeah.
replied. I said, well, nobody tells you
And,
right, whatever.
you know, in my
how it
daily
goes.
life.
And I said, and I think that's really unfair for you
Because I
to
have the same
assume.
plan that this gentleman has.
You came in my office. You know what, we should all be
Because you
conservative,
assumed that
because
I was
really
the
pissed
person
off,
who
right?
is-
I was like, oh, I voted for this guy, and that's it, was gonna vote for you guys, you know? And so that was my plan. My plan was just, we're still friends. I knew how I felt. We are still friends. And I knew it was weird for a while, and I
We're
knew
still
that
friends.
based
She's
on
still
those
very much
beliefs,
Democrat.
that, but at that
Certainly
point, I
not Hispanic should
had
come.
to no longer, well, be on the fence. Because
Didn't
it
work out so well.
somebody already knew now.
Especially
You
because
know, and now she was gonna tell everybody, and Austin, I mean, you know, it's bad enough to agree with me. And so I had to get off the fence,
But, you know, it's-
and I had to
start
sit there
life
and I had
with
to say,
the way it
okay,
is.
you know,
And
and
you
you
learn
learn
to
to
live
live
this that
and you
affect
try.
you.
And
there were
then
a
you
lot of
but you
things.
keep trying.
And then there's a
just
lot
keep
of-
trying.
I'm very different
And
from
but
other
what I saw
Hispanics.
was I
I'm very different
hired when I
from
first went to solo
Mexican
Americans.
I'm
I
very
hired an
different
assistant,
from other
and it was a
foreign
really
nationals.
weird deal.
So there's just
You know, I
diversity
didn't
within
have
the
an assistant
Hispanic
at the
community
time.
as well.
You know,
The
that's
Catholic Charities got a hold of me, the
You have
St.
to deal
Vincent de
with
Paul
people that are
Society.
doing outreach
They
to
have
them.
a home
For example,
for
right now as
women,
women,
I get
used by their husbands and that sort of thing. I get stuff for foreign-born
and,
Mexicans, or I get stuff for
they call them
Mexicans
And I know,
that are
I know when they call me
themselves that it's
and,
a really bad
you know,
case.
I know
That's
that.
what it is.
And
I
the
always
email
felt
right there,
the real number was $600 to do
if
this
you are
crazy
a
case. And I know it's gonna be
Mexican
crazy and it's gonna eat up my time,
from
but
the state
I
of
have to put
Michoacan.
a price tag on it because if not, they
We're
bring
gonna be
me
holding
everything, right?
elections, make sure that you get
And
your,
so,
your
and
electoral
there's,
card, blah,
you
blah,
know,
blah.
You're- and this is
Governors up
specifically
there,
for
and
people in
there's,
Chicago, the
other
Chicago
people
area.
that can go to legal
And they're
whatever,
gonna get to
but
vote
they're
from
from
Mexico.
don't want to take it.
Well, so here I am.
Thing about all that,
And they brought
there's
me this,
bigger things
this
in
girl,
our elections
and
here
she's going through
that
that
affect
abuse, all this kind
the
of stuff.
Hispanic community.
And she's here
Here's
to
what
really,
happens
you know,
in
or
the
to
Mexican
Mexican. And
community.
in that,
She didn't,
their whole
Vito
deal,
writing.
they thought they beat her, she's spoken, they beat her another illegal immigrant, and she was
They stole
bright.
his money and-
So I asked
You
her,
know, he's in the
well, do
hospital,
you have a
whatever.
job?
So
So
those are
real
we're
hard
done
to
here
do if you
because
want to,
do
you
research.
know that you want to say, well,
He shouldn't
and I
have been here
started to
anyway,
talk to
you
her,
know?
but it's
And,
not so easy
she
once
was
you get
from
from another person, and so it's
Say
hard
how
as
bad.
a Hispanic
she
to be
told
the
me
one
about
carrying
how
the torch
she
about
was
immigration
and she
on
didn't
there.
we
All
should
the dangers
do
that she went
legal
through.
immigration only.
You know, where
she had
because
worked,
you know, and just how it was to be a portrayer of the people. And then meeting this guy, and because, you know, they're,
you know, knight in shining armor.
their
and they have
families,
these
how did they
children,
get
and
in?
it turns out that
Well,
my
my
family's still back there.
So I can say, well,
they're not here, I'm the
well,
only one.
you know, what advice
And I
would I
have to
go
go
back?
back.
You know what I said?
No, you should give me
And
advice
so,
on me
you know,
to
you
do that
have
kind of advice,
to,
you know? If I ever find myself in the desert,
Desert,
no
like I
water,
said,
I don't know.
the romantic
And so
side
I
of
sat there,
what,
and I
your,
said, well,
you know,
what have you found?
home
I mean,
country
you know,
was.
she told me, you know, I'm at this police house, and they're helping me
those people are
get a
honest,
job,
and
and
they're
this, and that, and certain things, and she started telling me about
Dental
some of
work.
it, and I know, you know,
And she was different
and
from
so
the
it's like,
other
no, they're like
somebody
everybody
else, but it's
I mean, I don't like to say
romantic
that to think of old myself, but sometimes it's just not that
continuous
way.
cycle.
I mean, you know, I've been there, I can
And
tell
I
you
didn't
that
see
there
that
is
in
nothing written in English for me.
And I told her, I
Not
said,
that I
well,
need it, but if I
take
need
the
it,
opportunity
it's not written
that
in
they
English
give you.
anyway.
And then so
If
she
I get
came-
arrested,
she comes
back. And she
God
says,
help
well,
me, because I
they
don't
have
have
this
this
welfare
welfare
form, and they have this form, and they have that form, and I can get this, and I can get that. They're not gonna give me free anything.
I said, let me
I'm
just
not
tell
gonna
you.
get free healthcare. I'm not gonna get.
I said,
so,
if you
know,
need it
so
for
I can
right now,
see, you know, when I come back, I
right
can
now,
see
then
why
do it.
to Americans it would seem like a burden.
Don't-
I can see
you can
why.
check your kids.
The
Makes you
smallest one
wonder,
was like 9 months old, so I wasn't gonna
You
tell
know,
her, don't
well,
take cheese,
you
you
know,
know?
Why
And
do
so-
you when you don't want to let
But I told
little
her, I
kids
said,
that
but
are here
don't
illegally, you know, go to
get
the-
stuck in
but
there.
somebody has to
I
say,
said, don't get stuck in there. I said, because what happens
they
is,
do.
so it's
in a
it's
situation
gonna be a heavy
where people
burden
will
because
tell
there's
you,
so
when I
many
say
issues.
people,
And
I
as
said,
a community government,
all
will
those
come
come
into play
how
how
much
much
you
you
can
can achieve. They come into
I said,
play
they will set the
in
bar because
daily
they get
life.
dependent
They
on
come into
that.
play
You will never
le-
be
you
able
know, what the
to
legal
pass
system
that bar.
requires,
I mean,
and
just
then what
you'll be
people's
stuck.
notions
And then
are
you'll be
about
stuck voting for
Mexicans or
that.
they're
You'll
not.
be
And
stuck
some people
voting for
think
that
we're the
for
best
kids.
people in the
So
world,
it's
that
like,
we're all honest, and we're all
you know.
hard workers, and we're
And so
all,
she
you
started
know,
going to school, she started doing all this stuff.
She says that, so I really don't know what happened to her, but I know that
So
that
you
was
got
the
this,
advice that I gave her, and it was
You know,
heartfelt.
people way out here, and then
you know,
you've got all
and
this
I
stuff
told
in
her
the
that.
middle.
And the stuff in
And
the middle
so,
where
you
is
know,
where it gets
well,
hard.
and so,
You know,
what are they?
And
that's exactly what happened.
You know, I know someone, or,
That's the
someone,
first
or
people
whatever,
reaching out
you know,
to
you
them.
gotta deal with that.
Then there's not people.
You know, so that, I've
Why?
dealt with it on
We're
a
stuck
lot
in
of
the
different
grind.
issues.
We're stuck in the grind,
And it's
stuck
not
making it,
we're stuck doing it, but
But
I
like
do
everybody
believe,
else,
everybody
you know,
knows we
we're
dealt
like,
with.
when
We've
I
assimilated.
initially
We're
and
fessed up
that's a good
to being
thing,
conservative.
but it's also takes you outside.
I
of-
started looking into it, 'cause I'm that
You
type
know,
of person. It's like,
okay,
okay,
well,
I'm gonna be
so
this,
then
then I'm gonna be
it's
the
this,
best.
but the
it's
people that are
ever,
in
you
the
know?
community
Best
are.
is ever.
Because I see it all the time, I'm part of a email, and back then there was something that's always asking,
2021.
will you volunteer to
Hispanic
come
community.
do outreach
Would
for
be
this
part of
or
yours.
for that, or for
Big
all
one.
these kind of,
Almost
what I would consider entitlement programs.
And, you know, some of my, I
And,
wasn't the one looking
or
into
give a
that.
speech on this,
A lot of
there's
different
no
people.
outreach for,
You know?
hey, you
And
know,
I felt
it's
like
gonna
the
be
only
really
conservative
hard,
looking
it's
into
gonna be
that.
super hard, but I
And
promise you, if you stick to
Initially,
it,
there was
it'll
excitement,
be better,
you know?
but then I
And
got
you can't-
scared. Because like I said, I don't even know what happened to
I
them.
started to get scared
because
now.
I realized that the
Doing it.
outreach,
But
if she
man,
they've been
did
doing
what I
outreach
asked her to do.
decades, hopefully,
Decades,
you know,
and
she's
decades,
made it
and
out of that
decades.
long
She did this,
grind,
did
getting
that.
through it, you know?
Because I always get
And
invitations
that's
to the
not
event.
easy. People
It's
don't
not
necessarily
easy.
know.
And
You have other issues
but
within
here's
the community.
what
You know, you have the fear was.
sometimes you have people that
are doing work around
since
the
the
house.
3rd grade, I've been in love with George Washington.
Illegal immigrants.
George Washington is my man, the original George, you know? And so, you know,
And then
I
you find
read
out
all
on
into George
Friday
Washington,
nights
and then I
because
found out that he and Thomas Jefferson comes, I read into all of that, and then I read into, you know, aliens,
all these other
getting
people,
cash, and so
you
on
know,
Friday night,
they
that
all
all
had
had something to do with George
and so
Washington.
we
There's
see
only
that
so many
in
George
Northern
Washington
California.
books that
I
you
also
can read
do
over and
criminal
over,
defense,
so I had to
I
read
also
about
do
these other people, so
other
I could
stuff.
read
My
about
husband says
George
George
Washington's dealing with these guys. And, so I have this love for the founding fathers, you know, I do. And it started to worry me, because I thought, you know, they did a really good job, an exceptional job of building this country. They did such a great job that so many people are still flocking here. They're still coming here, you know? And I thought, if we're the majority, can we carry that torch? Or will we change it in such a way that it will be better? And then I started looking, so that scared me. So then I started looking into other statistics. Well, we have high dropout rates. We have high incidences of teenage pregnancy. You know, and when I say we, I'm part of the pool. Even though I'm an achiever, and even though my children are doing well, I'm still part of the pool, and I can't pull the pool up by myself, you know? I wish I could. It's kind of like, you know, when you're the one that brings up the average, there's not enough I could do to bring up that average, unless I get on the ground, you know? And so that started to scare me a little bit, because I thought, gosh, you know, what are we going to do, you know, if we don't make some changes? So I started looking at I'm not a pessimist, so I didn't just, you know, stay down and think, oh no, it's over, I'm going back to Mexico. You know, I thought, okay, how did other people do it? Easy. I saw it. I mean, you know, Jews have integrated. They still have their culture, they still have their traditions, but they're still American. They're part of the fabric. Same thing with Italians, same thing with any other immigrant group. So I started thinking, okay, so if they could do it, why haven't we been doing it? Because Mexico's right there. It's right there, so it reminds us all the time that we're not from here, you know? And so I started doing a different dynamic at home. You know, my kids are the guinea pigs. And, you know, and they feel it every day. You know, oh, well, we're white. Well, no, well, we're Hispanic. Well, you know, we're this and we're that. I'm like, well, okay. So what are we? And I said, well, okay, here's the deal. I'm like, you are culturally Mexican because I cook Mexican food. I mean, you know, I don't know how to cook any. I mean, I do know how to cook other stuff now, but initially I didn't. And we still are Catholic. We still do all the traditions at Christmas and all the, you know, Easter and whatever. We still do the piñata and know all the songs when you're hitting it and everything. So I said, but we're American. I'm like, and if Mexico and America ever go to war, we are wearing American uniforms, you know? And so, you know, I've made it very clear to them. And so they know, you know, okay, and so they know the differences. And when we go to Mexico, when we go visit friends, there's another strange thing about my family. My mother is an only child. And, you know, from Mexico, from a Mexican mom and dad. So, yeah, so when we go back now, my grandparents are deceased, and so we go visit friends, extended family. I mean, we're talking way extended, and friends. And, you know, I tell them, like, look how beautiful, and look at how this, and look at how that. And then I'm, but isn't it so bad that they don't have regulations? Look at the roads, look at, you know, so I let them see also the other side, so that they're not just thinking, oh, we can go to Mexico, you know? And, but that's what you're up against, that and a lot of other stuff, and I don't want to cut it too much into
No, that's perfect.
So,
Yeah, I think it shapes the battle that we have in front of us, and definitely puts emphasis on how important it is for the work that we're about to get into.
I mean, it is a big undertaking. Some people are going to be mad at you. Some people will. I think that here's the really funny part. I am very Republican. I really am. I mean, you know, I vote. Everybody knows I'm Republican because I vote in all the primaries. And I also am appointed by the governor. And the few local officials, we only have one elected official. Well, actually there's two. One's a JP and one's a state representative that is a Republican in the Austin area. And then we have